We got a red. That means we are live, and we are on site at the Ruston Community Men's Shed. It's a funky little camera. If you want to wave to the camera that's on the stairs, that's the back of Tommy Folk's head. That's me. I'm Rick Godley. To my right, Dr. Melinda Hienz, visiting from Northern Iowa University.
Yep.
Questions for Dr. Hienz, for Tommy Folk, and or for Ray, not for me. Post them up there, because this is kind of neat how we're live and in the moment, and we don't know who we're reaching now, but I know we're reaching also in the future because Dr. Hienz is visiting, doing research on this concept called Men's Shed. Well,
4 months in Ireland in 2022. I did culture and psychology, I think, in Ireland. And shed, it was pre-planned, and then they showed us around. They have a shed association, and through that is actually how I met Tommy. Tom and I were on a Zoom call a couple summers ago, I think, where we were and so I followed up and I said, you know, would you be okay if I came by? And here I am. So.
Well, way to go, Tommy Folk. He's not on camera. I have the back of his head, so if you want to talk to those people up there, but Tommy, when did you have the conversation with Melinda?
I have no clue.
And yeah, you're here. All right. So, when did the phone ring and Tommy said?
It's in the U.S. because my context was more like the Irish sheds, so I wanted to see what was similar, some interviews, and see what that looks like because. I had talked with some sheds in Minnesota and Wisconsin, but they didn't have their own building. And so I just wanted to go to a place that had their...
Vera and Tommy Folk, I think, Ray, you were exposed first to this flyer that came out. It says, Men's Shed coming to Ruston. By the way, Beulah Laster is the one that put this together, literally the perspiration to the inspiration. And it didn't say hopefully coming to Ruston. It was coming to Ruston. So, Ray, talk about your exposure to the Men's Shed, when and where that happened, and why it's so...
I found that flyer. I was out visiting one of our local stores, Tool City Supply exactly, and was waiting to check out, and that flyer was laying on their counter. I think it was the day before that meeting. I think it was on a Thursday. Is that right?
The owner of Tool City is Beulah's brother.
Yeah, and I didn't know that even for several months afterwards. But
Thursday, April 26th, yes.
Yeah, it was Thursday because it was Wednesday afternoon when I saw the flyer. And I thought, well, that sounds interesting. I think
How many showed up to that first meeting?
I think there were 4 of us plus Miss Beulah.
And Mayor Ronnie Walker was there as well.
No, he wasn't there that day.
He wasn't there that day.
No, it was just
Judy was.
He was?
Subsequent meetings that she held.
So what's your takeaway when you heard, like, you know, we all know the concept of a community men's shed. What were you thinking?
I was sitting there listening and interested in it and following what she was saying. And all these places in Australia and Scotland and England, and the more interested I got.
Well, she told me the same thing because I got research from the Australian Men's Shed Association that I pulled down, and also to find out about this. And so that was just the seeding, if you will, of the concept because you know, to push the car, you got to move it the first inch, and that takes a whole lot of energy and initiative. What else followed up? Because something obviously sparked in you.
Well, she, doing all that and just listening to her and talking with her, I told her I'd help with it, and then she started having other meetings. And there was a lot, she invited all kinds of folks. People that worked in the wood industry, the home building industry, plumbers, and the mayor was there some, and Judy was there as a representative of the convention center.
Right.
Or the Chamber of Commerce, actually, I guess it was. And there was a wide variety of folks at those early meetings.
Again, it takes a community to come together and having a want-to to show up, step forward. Were you there for that kind of dialogue, Tommy? Were you there, Ray?
No.
She go see. That's
no,
the
really.
question.
I think she talked to everybody in town at one point or another. But he was sitting there and he immediately just almost started dancing because she just knew it would work.
Right.
And she called me and one other gentleman that was at that first meeting, Harold Parker. And we met with her and went over and got with Doug, and he took us and showed it to us. It didn't look anything like it did by the time we moved in. It was full of old furniture and everything else the first time I saw it.
For the sake of historical record, we're talking about what is now the Louisiana Delta Community College. I don't think it was called that at the time.
Over 14 different sheds in Ireland, and I've known for people here to use. And so, you know, I was talking with both Ray.
To be, pun intended, a mentoring opportunity for multi-generation. As a matter of fact, Ray, when I got here today to set up, there was a young man that I think he walked in here, and I'm not really sure, Tommy, can inspire you to do it, but it's only $10 per day, but you have annual memberships, right?
$120 a year.
$120 a year. All right, let's go back now. We'll get to that later. Now you threw me off my track. Profit organization. So explain, Men's Shed open for all. Do that we can correct.
The biggest thing, wood shop, but that's what we have now. Wood shop and crafts room now, and we've had a lot of crafts going on, and the paint room, and a little bit of everything.
So in your travels, the concept of a men's shed is a misnomer.
Sheds that I've been, at least, you know, there are so many different ages here, because I was here last night and there was a whole group of people coming after work too, which was really interesting.
We have a good thing here in community and as far as north central Louisiana, just to brag a little bit, but part of the issue too is what, and you could
From other people, right? And that might be more effective than spending your time, you know, maybe just online or with.
In 2018, in November of 2018, he walked in and told Miss Beulah that he didn't know anything about woodworking, but he'd come to sweep the floor.
there's an event